Welcome back, everybody, to Freaky Tales podcast today on this Friday. I want to thank everybody who has subscribed, who has tuned in, who has commented, who has liked. I'd like to say hello to everyone on the live chat. You know, I look forward to Freaky Tales so much more than I actually like to my other podcasts. My other podcasts, I've already have over 100, episodes, but this one's episode 12. And before I introduce my special guest, there should be a number on the screen. And today we're going to try to take some calls. I'll let you guys know ahead of time before you guys call. And when you guys call, it's just not to say hello, but it is to share possibly a story. Anything that might have happened to you, something that might have happened to your mother, a story that might have been passed down to you from your family, anything that you want to share as far as paranormal, if it's a UFO story, if it's a ghost story, whatever you want to share, try to keep it between 4 to 5 minutes. And if somebody just calls just to say hello or just a prank call, we're just going to hang up. So hopefully we can all behave and keep this show going. So once again, the number should be on the screen. We're going to be taking at least one call before we go to break, before our 5-minute intermission break. We'll be taking one call, so be ready with that. And then when we come back, we're going to take several more phone calls, okay? Once again, we are still accepting you guys' letters. If you guys still want to submit your emails to freakytalespodcast@gmail.com for those of you that are interested in sharing your stories. Now, whether it's an email or whether you call, if you want to be named anonymous, then we'll keep it anonymous. You don't have to say your name unless you want to, whether that's a phone call or whether that's an email. If you guys would like to follow us on Freaky Tales Podcast on Instagram, that should also be up on the screen. Follow us there for future content, for future guests, or for if you guys have any requests or anything, DM us there on who you may want to see on Freaky Tales. Other than that, we are still selling we only have a few loterias, horror loterias on Freaky Tales Podcast, which is available at documixery.com. I only have a handful left. I'm not sure if I'm going to be getting any more, but for those of you that are interested in just collecting it or playing with it or using it when family and friends come over, it's at documixery.com, horror loteria. Other than that, I would like to introduce, without further ado, my very special guest, Aimee. How you doing, Aimee?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Today has just been very hectic for me. I always have, even when I have time off, I always make my day productive. So sometimes it's kind of like my own fault being a busybody.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah. So you know what? Before we get into our discussion about the things that you've experienced, things have you gone through, things you want to share, just share with us a little bit of your background so that people get to know who Aimee is.
Well, hi everyone. I'm Aimee Strain. I am a cast member at 17th Door. I've been doing it for about 3 years now. And it's been a lot of fun scaring the crap out of people and having a lot of fun with everybody there. And it's a great time. Everybody should come check it out. It's a lot of fun.
Most definitely. We've had some of the other cast members come through here and share their experiences. Last week we had Kevin, and before that we had Mad Dog and Olivia.
Yeah.
I'm sure you know them as well.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Yes, and some of the costumes, that you guys wear or makeup, amazing.
Yeah.
And to have to be able to sign a waiver because you can get zapped, you can get wet, or
yeah. It's really intense. It's a lot of fun with like all the costuming and stuff. Like it's so much work, and it's like blood, sweat, and tears, like wearing some of the harnesses they put you in, and just working for hours and hours and hours. But it's so much fun. It's all completely worth it.
Awesome. Now I know you have shared with me that throughout pretty much, if not your life, throughout the many years, you've experienced a lot of paranormal things going on in your life.
Yeah.
Before we get into all that, you sharing with us, I want to share something that happened to me last night. And I haven't had one of these dreams in a long time. I was sharing last week with Kevin that I usually have dreams where I don't know if I'm awake or if I'm asleep. I'm somewhere in the middle. I know there's a name for it, and Kevin gave the name for it.
I think it's sleep paralysis.
Something like that, yes.
Yeah.
And last night I was in my room and I was asleep, but I also, and it's hard to put into words. I knew I was asleep, but I was awake in my dream. Like I knew I was dreaming.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like when we see movies like Freddy Krueger, and the people that are in the dream are dying for somebody to wake them up. Mm-hmm. You know, because something's about to happen.
Yeah.
Something like that happened to me last night, and it's happened to me throughout my life. Something came in through my back door, and I don't know why, but I thought I just sensed a female. Mm. A female walked in through the back door, and walked by my feet. You know, I'm a tall guy, so my feet almost hang off the bed.
What'd she look like?
You know what? I couldn't see it. All I saw was a silhouette.
Yeah. Okay.
But that's all I saw, and I felt her almost hit my feet as she walked by, and I got so terrified because I couldn't move.
Yeah.
And but I knew that I was dreaming, and I started saying, "Get out of here," but almost with my mouth muzzled in a sense, and I kept saying, "Get out of here," and I was terrified because I felt such a bad, evil presence, and I saw this person opening up my drawers and going through stuff, you know, like trying to find something. And they finally found something, and it looked almost like a can of something. I don't know what it was. And they stood at the corner of my bedroom, and they kept walking towards me. Now they're starting to come slowly towards me and starting to get on top of my bed, but very, very slowly, like real creepy. And I'm just shaking, and in my dream, I'm trying to wake myself up. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't. And so I began to yell out, "Wake me up, wake me up, wake me up." And I ended up getting woken up. Mm-hmm. Okay. But I was in the exact same place as I was in my dream. It was almost like, if I can say it this way, it was almost like in my dream, I went through some portal, and this was the supernatural realm, and I'm starting to see things that the normal eye wouldn't see.
Yeah.
But whoever this person was, it was a woman, because as they got closer, I was able to see her face, and this person sprayed my face with something. And that's what pretty much ended up waking me up.
What a trip.
Yeah, put it this way, I wasn't able to sleep again.
I don't blame you.
I didn't want to go back to sleep.
Yeah.
You know, so
I've been there.
I wonder sometimes if movies like the Freddy Krueger movies, you know, when he says, "I'll see you in your dreams" or whatever. Mm-hmm. I wonder if somebody made those movies because they went through some of those episodes in their life with those
Yeah,
things.
no, I'm sure that's probably how it came about.
Yeah. Have you ever experienced some of those things?
Yes, I have, unfortunately. I always have absolutely wild dreams, and in my dreams it's just like when something bad's happening,
yes.
Like I could actually feel the pain, and like it seems like it's going on all night, but studies shown when you're asleep and dreaming, you're only dreaming for like maybe about 10 minutes.
Yes.
But it seems like an eternity.
Yes.
And yeah, it just makes you exhausted when you wake up. It's like you've been running like the whole time, and you just wake up exhausted. It's no fun.
And that's pretty much the way I feel right now. I feel like I haven't had any rest whatsoever. I even tried taking a nap earlier, but it didn't do me no good. I just looked myself in the mirror and I said, "Wow, I look so tired today." But like you said it correctly, it seems like it was hours, but it was only maybe a matter of minutes.
Yeah.
You know, and when you're in that state of that dream, when you can't do nothing, it's so terrifying.
Yeah.
You know, because
you're screaming and screaming, but nothing comes out. It's just
it's terrible.
You're silenced.
Yes. And so now I know earlier we had talked on the phone, and you had shared with me how you had experienced, if I'm correct, either ghost stories or how, I'm not sure how you label it, or.
Yeah, I've experienced some paranormal events. My house was built in 1920, so my house turned 100 this year. And I know everybody's like, "Oh, it's old, so it's scary," but it's like, no, there's some really weird shit going on here. Like, my hallway is, I'd probably say, the most paranormal part of my house, like the most paranormal activity. I have a lot of pets, and they like kind of like avoid going through the hallway, or if they do, they run really fast.
Really?
And sometimes they'll just be like at the doorways in front of the hallway and just barking at like there's nothing there. There's nothing there that I can see, at least. And they're just like losing it over like whatever's going on in this hallway. And my room is to the left of the hallway, like when you first enter. And like you'll just hear like footsteps.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of footsteps. You'll even hear like doorknobs like turning. But I'll be home alone. Like there's nobody else in the house except for me. And like it's not like any of my animals mess with the doorknobs. Most of the time they'll all be with me when I'm home alone. And yeah, it just sounds like there's really, really heavy footsteps in the hallway sometimes. And just the doorknobs, and it's always freezing in that hallway. It's icy in that hallway.
That's one thing that I hear a lot from, if we want to call them haunted houses or whatever, that it's always cold. Okay. A lot of people have shared that with me. And it's funny you mentioned a hallway, because before I moved into this home, I've been here now for 20 years. Okay.
Oh, that's as long as I've been in my home too. Yeah, 20 years.
And the prior home that I was at, people would say that there was something going on in the hallway, always going on in the hallway. So one day my mother invited a friend over, and she was like a spiritualist. Exactly what that entails, I really don't know, but I know that she believed in like in Spanish we say limpiadas, a cleansing. She sold stuff at the swap meet. She sold potions, lotions, whatever.
Sage.
Exactly, stuff like that. So one day she came over, and I remember we were all having dinner, and she kept turning around, and she kept looking, out this way and looking out that way, and I noticed it. I knew she was making the connection to that hallway. And after a while, she just kept. And she said, you know what? She said, and she was talking to my mother in Spanish. And my mother knew what was going on over there, because my door to my bedroom was in that hallway. So she just told my mother, I don't know why, I see somebody keep walking back and forth there. I can't make it out. And she said, you do? She goes, oh, we just hear noises, people walking. And sometimes I've even, in my room when I've been asleep, sometimes, because my dad back then would have liked to get up in the middle of the night to use the restroom or whatever, so I would hear him. But this was different. Whenever this person or whoever it was would walk the hallway, I would always feel like he would put his hands on the wall and
just slide across.
Yeah, just slide across as he was walking. So once I hear it, I would always say, who's there? But in Spanish, I would say, Appa, like Dad? Is that you? And he wouldn't answer. But here's what I would get. When I knew it wasn't my dad, boom, on my door.
Oh my God.
Okay?
That's awful.
Yeah, so I'm over here in a cold sweat, looking at the door, hoping it isn't open. So I would tell my mother these stories, and so my mother told me, you need to tell her what you experienced. And I told her these things. And she said, does anybody else experience them or heard these things? And he said, yeah. So she walked over there, and she just kept, looking at the hallway. She goes, there's something just here. So I bring that up because you brought up the hallway thing. Now, this lady was supposed to come back and supposedly do something to cleanse the hallway or the house.
Yeah.
And my father did not want her to come back. My father thought she was a weirdo. So I don't want that lady in my house.
Yeah.
So we just ended up moving out.
Oh, well.
So I don't know if it stayed there or if it followed us or whatever, but I remember there in that hallway, that's where a lot of things used to happen. So
yeah, you reminded me when you were talking about the scraping, like hands dragging. When I was a teenager, me and my friends snuck into the Fox Theater in downtown Fullerton. It's been closed for like a billion years. And we were wandering around, and it's like, it's really unstable in there.
Yeah.
But we were trying to get into the basement, but the basement was all like crowded, like with just like old furniture, debris, like everything. But one of my friends like climbed through, and we were trying to tell him, like, dude, like, this is not a good idea. Like, this shit's like really unstable. Like, you gotta come back. Like, come on, dude. But like, of course, he kept on going. And then we started hearing like this scraping of metal, like metal dragging across the floor. And he like comes running back, like screaming his brains out. And like, we thought like he was screwing with us, but he was just like, dude, like, there was like a loud bang down there. Like, did you hear that? And we were like, no, we didn't hear a bang. And we were like, did you hear like the metal like dragging across like the floor is what it sounded like? Like, I don't know, like a pipe or something. And he was like, what the fuck? No, like, oh my God. And like, he climbed out of there, and he was terrified. And eventually, like, as we were trying to like leave and get back out, like the way we came in, like, I don't know if like the fence fell or something moved it. Like, it was really weird, like, because the way we came in was like all of a sudden like blocked by this fence, and we were just like, oh shit. So we had to try to find a new way out because we couldn't get it to move. Like, we were stuck in there. And of course, like, all the doors on the way out are locked, and like, you can't unlock them on the inside. And so we ended up going up the stairs, like climbing onto the roof. And then there was I forget what it's called, when on buildings they have like the ladders like on the outside that fold down.
Yeah.
But we ended up climbing down one of those, and then had to jump like half a story down to get out.
Wow.
And oh my God, it was so scary. It just felt like there was something like like so much pressure, like there was something like on top of us, like trying to push us out, but then it also felt like there was something trying to keep us in.
Wow.
And it was awful. Like, they started opening up that place now here and there for like fundraisers, but I'm like, I don't think I want to go back there now, like, even now that it's open.
Yeah. You know, even though pretty much all of my life I've experienced, you know, weird paranormal things, I've seen things around people, I've heard things, you know, that it's unexplainable. Mm-hmm. And for some reason, I've always still remained a skeptic, you know? Yeah, I've always remained, it's almost like I've always thought maybe I could just explain it away somehow.
Yeah, like there's got to be an explanation for this.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, like I remember when I first saw, I believe it was The Conjuring, where the man, he says, oh, sometimes it could be a leaky pipe, sometimes it could be a wood on the floor that's old, the house is old, it's setting. You know, I understand that stuff, but when you have somebody banging your door, you know, and that's happened to me several times. So I've always thought to myself, like, okay, if there's something here, some type of entity, some type of ghost, spirit, demonic being, whatever the case may be, like, what is it? What is its goal? To make a noise? Is it just to put fear into you? Mm-hmm. You know, people have said yes, it's to put fear into you, and that's when they have you, when you allow the fear in.
Yeah.
You know, I've heard people say that they only have as much as power as you give them, because if you give them that fear, now they have almost like an entrance to you. Because of that fear.
They feed off that.
Absolutely. There was a story that I wanted to share that I was maybe about 15 years old, and we had heard about a murder that took place many years prior out in a place out here called Palos Verdes, which we call PV or Palos Verdes. That's what we call it out here. So several times I first heard about this so-called murder or mystery. I don't even know if it's even true, but what happened was this. I was in junior high school, and we heard about the so-called murder that happened in this house. And I've always wanted to go. Never managed to go. I got into high school. My brother found out about it. Everybody almost had the same story about this house, that there was a murder that took place. Nobody knew the details. We didn't have Google. We didn't have YouTube. We didn't have no technology like that to where we can type it in and look it up. But we only heard it by people passing it down.
Yeah, okay? Hearsay.
Yes. So we were able to get the address. So we went up there to this house, and it was 3 cars, and it was maybe about, I want to say maybe 12 of us total. We just wanted to see it, and we wanted to go at night. Okay. So this was in a gated community. So we literally had to wait with our lights turned off till a car goes in and just drive in behind them and let everybody in. So we were following the directions that somebody gave us that said, this is where the house is at. And they said, it's abandoned, still is abandoned. That's what they told us. We drove up there, we pulled up to the house, and there was you could just tell that it wasn't maintained. The grass was really high, there was trees everywhere, there was shrubs everywhere. So we pulled up, but it was really, really freaking dark. So we turned off the lights, and this looks like at one point it was a very rich home, because this is a rich area. Yeah. So we got out, and it was just pitch black. We had no flashlights, we had no cell phones, we had nothing. This was, I'm gonna say, mid-'80s. And I look at my brother, I look at all of our friends, and what do you guys wanna do? Let's walk. We have to walk maybe 50 feet before we get to the door, because there was a long driveway. So when we get there, I was one of the first ones, because I was trying to act the bravest. And as we get close to the door, I swear to you, my friends said it was a silhouette, but I know what I saw. When we got close to the door, there was a tall man, almost wearing like a reaper.
A hood and everything.
Yeah, all the way. And I remember I said, what the hell is that? And when I said that, this person turned around. He was standing right by the front door. And everybody took off, and I kind of stayed, and he turned fully around. I saw his face. They said it was a silhouette. I said it was a person. Yeah. So we all took off, and I told everybody, get the hell out of here. We hopped in our cars. We leave the gated community, and our car clearly just stopped.
Oh, man.
Lights and everything just stopped, and the other 2 cars just took off.
Oh, so you guys were all left behind?
Yeah, we had no cell phones. We had nothing. Yeah. Everything just died. And my friend, and he's terrified. And he says, get out to see if he's coming.
Oh, my God.
And I said, I ain't getting out. Yeah. And we all start arguing amongst each other. I'm not getting out. You get out. I'm not getting out. You get out. So I finally said, look, dude, give me something. You got anything that I can light on fire so I can kind of look? Anything? Yeah. He said, no. So he said, let's get out all together, open up my trunk, see what we could find. He had like a beacon that he had back there when he got a flat tire, and he put it so that a cars could see it. Yeah. So I just had it while he was trying to look at his car. About maybe 30, 40 minutes later, one of the guys that came with us realized that we weren't behind them.
Oh, man.
So they came back. They helped fix our car, whatever was wrong with it, and we took off.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Get the hell out of there.
Yes. I share that to say this, that I thought it was a person. They thought it was a silhouette. They actually thought it was something spiritual. I thought it was something natural, like a man. Yeah. But that was a creepy story to say that night we wanted to go look at that so-called haunted house, and yet there was somebody there. You know, what are the odds of that night? You know, so was there any other things you wanted to share before we get into a call or so?
Yeah. Speaking of silhouettes, me and my sister, we were really young. I would say like I was probably like 8, she was like 10, around there. And we were swimming at my grandma's house, and it had gotten later into the night, and we were still swimming, and we were chilling in the hot tub, and it just started to sprinkle a little bit, and we heard like thunder off in the distance, And we were just like, oh, whatever, we're kids, we don't care.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, like, the lightning must have hit just like either like the pool next to us or like telephone pole, like I don't know. It was super close because like all of a sudden like it was a bright flash of light. We couldn't see anything.
Right.
And then when it faded, there was this probably 7-foot silhouette of I mean, I always got the feeling it was a man, like
right.
a man's presence. And it was just like standing on the side of the pool, and me and my sister, we both saw it.
Yeah.
And we like screamed and then just like ducked into the water. Like we didn't know what to do. We were kids, like we were just terrified. So we ducked into the water and we come back up, and we pretty much both at the same time said, "Did you see that?"
Yeah.
And then I mean, I had been seeing that figure for years.
Have you ever thought that maybe it was the same one? Or do you think it was just...
No, yeah, I think it's the same one.
Okay.
For sure. And I had been seeing that figure for a couple years before me and my sister saw that figure together. Like, I had seen him in my bedroom, just kind of standing at the foot of my bed and watching. He never, like, seemed to be something bad.
Right.
I never really got that feeling. He made me feel uncomfortable. But, like, it didn't seem like he was there to harm me. But, yeah, I'd see him every now and then. I would see him, like, mostly at night when I was, like, sleeping and I woke up, or, like, walking through the house, like, really late at night. I would see him just, like, standing in random places. And I always thought, like, it was just me. Like, I just saw him every now and then, like, something really weird, whatever. I was a kid. But then when I realized my sister saw him too that night when we were swimming, she had told me she's been seeing him too for a couple years.
Wow.
Same situation, like at the foot of her bed, or when she got up at night, she would see him in the hallway, like, or random situations when things got dangerous, like he would be there randomly. And it's just a really weird situation because we could never really tell if he was there to harm or just watch over.
Yeah.
He was just this big black silhouette that we just, I don't know, we both got the vibe that he was a guy.
Right.
And I haven't seen him in quite a while. I don't know if my sister's seen him. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's just really weird. We've seen him for years, and it's just me and my sister who see him.
Have you guys ever looked into possibly, and this was at your home, correct?
Yes.
Have you guys ever...
But we've seen him outside our home too.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, at my grandmother's house, he was there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's something that follows us. I'm not sure if it's just like something at my home.
Okay. Wow. You know, here's the crazy part, because I've known people that have told me that they've seen these things at their house, and then they did like further investigation in the history of their house. They later on found out that somebody either drowned in their bathtub, somebody was killed. You know, I've heard different stories from different people that have seen these things in their home, and a lot of times they believe, because they're trying to make sense of it, is it somebody just hanging around? You know, that maybe, you know, if people believe in heaven, if people believe in hell, some people believe in purgatory, some people believe that these are people that just don't want to go or rest yet. They're still here. Like, I don't have the answers for that, but I don't like seeing it.
Yeah.
You know, and part of the reason why we started this Paranormal Freaky Tales podcast is because all of my life, you know, not just me, but many people that I know have experienced things like this, and it's happened all over the world. All over the world, people experience these kind of things, and nobody knows what happens when you die or what's in the afterlife. We don't know. Is it Is it that realm when we sleep and we think we're awake, but we can't get help and we feel attacked? Is that the after? We don't know. So I think this subject has always intrigued people, to like, because they want to know the unknown, if you will. We can give it names and we can call ourselves scholars, but we don't really know, know, unless somebody has made a communication with some of these entities. I'll share with you something that this is not a hallway, but this was a friend, and this friend lived in Corona. And this person told me that they allowed a certain individual to move in because he needed shelter, he needed a home, and he was a close friend of the family. So her and her husband thought about it, and they said, okay, we're going to allow him to stay with us for a few months. Out back in her, we have a big house. He can have his own room. He's going to go to work, come home, sleep, go about his business. But this one individual told me that ever since that person moved in, all they saw was a dark silhouettes, and not just one, but multiple.
Oh my gosh.
Again, multiple, and many of them always from the bathroom downstairs to upstairs to his room. That's where they always saw it. And her room and her husband's room was right across from his room, and they would always see and hear these things. But here's the weird part. Sometimes she would wait to listen for something, knowing that there was no one home. But every time she heard this going up the stairs and hear keys.
Oof.
Hear keys. So she would always get up thinking it was the person that she would open the door and it would stop. And it was nothing.
Yeah.
So she would go into the room, turn on the light, and he's not home yet. So she's thinking, let me go downstairs, go to the kitchen, nothing. Hello? No one's home. They have a big house. She goes back upstairs to her room, turns on the TV really low. And along with keys. And after a while, she was just telling me, like, I knew it all started was when he moved in.
Yeah.
I do believe that
he got some demons or something.
Yes. I do believe that some people, for some reason, are a magnet for some of those things.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Now, whether they're evil, whether they're bad, or whether they're not, for some reason, some of these things follow certain individuals, and it doesn't matter wherever they go, it follows them. For I'll give you an example. I was in Hollywood Boulevard many years ago. I want to say in the early 90s, and I was sitting in the car. We were sitting right on Hollywood Boulevard. We had fun parking on the street. We were sitting there. Now, some people always kind of excuse my story because I was drinking that day. I wasn't buzzed yet. I had only drank maybe a little bit of my Old English 40 ounce. And I'm sitting there, but I saw, it looked like a little man, but it was a dark silhouette, hugging, like getting a piggy bank ride from a man. And the man never knew, and he's walking with a briefcase.
Wow, that's a trip.
Yeah, and I'm looking, and I'm like, the hell is that? And this thing is literally, it looked like a back.
Latched.
Yes, but I could see the legs and I could see the arms, just can't see the face. And I said, okay, maybe it's nothing. Then I see another man coming around the corner, and it looked like a gorilla-like figure following him, but very, very close.
Yeah.
Like when he takes a step, it takes a step. He takes a step, it takes a step. And after a while, I even started doing one of these numbers, like.
You're just like
rubbing
your eyes.
Well, because you know what, it was in the middle of like around 6 o'clock, so it wasn't fully dark and it wasn't fully light. So I was thinking, can't be. And then I saw another one with the lady, but the different one with the lady, that this thing was hugging the lady from the front. The front. It was another little small one, and it was hugging the lady from the front, and she's walking and she couldn't see it.
Was it in the same area?
Yeah, same area.
Wow.
Yeah. And, and now that you say that, I never really bothered to look into that area,
Yeah, it's like maybe you should go back there and check it out. Sounds a little scary though.
It was the block right before the Chinese theater. So,
okay.
So we have the Man Chinese Theater, and it's the block right before it. We were parked right there, and that's where all of these things took place. Now, I've seen these things and I've shared it with people, but here's what to say: oh, you were just buzzed, or you were just drunk.
Yeah.
So, okay, but
I don't think being a little buzzed makes you see figures.
And I probably would have given them the benefit of the doubt if I saw one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But if I see three,
Yeah.
you know, within the same maybe 30, 40 minutes, no. I saw something, but I've always refrained from sharing them because some people will look at you as a weirdo or, you know, or you're lying or whatever. But here's my thing. Why would I lie?
Yeah.
Like, it's not like I'm getting paid.
What do you have to gain from that?
Yeah, from anything, you know. And here's how you could tell if somebody's telling the truth. That for years, if you ask them year after year or maybe 10 years from now, and they share the exact same story and it never switches up,
Yeah.
it's the truth.
Yeah.
Most people that can't remember a story, they'll take away from it. It's almost never really the full same story.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah. But here's what we're gonna do. I believe the number has been popping up on the screen, and my friend Johnny will let us know when somebody calls, and we're gonna be taking calls. At least one call for right now. If you would like to call and share something that's been going on in your life, or something that's been passed down, or something that you've experienced yourself, or maybe it happened to a family member, the number's been on the screen if you care to call. If not, we will continue with our discussion. But I would like to get somebody to try to call, so we're going to give you guys at least a minute, and my friend John will tell me when somebody's on the line, so we could put on our headphones and so that we can hear what this individual has to say. It could just be, okay, let's put on our headphones. Okay, you could turn off headphones. Okay, somebody there?
Hi, yes.
Yes. Your name is, or you would like to be anonymous?
Hi. I would like to be anonymous.
Okay. You can start at any time.
Okay. I have never seen anything, but recently in my house, we've been seeing things. Well, we've been hearing things. I don't know if my house is haunted. We've lived here for maybe like 3 years now, and recently my husband's seen our garage that it says someone died in our house. We don't know if it's true or anything like that. But now more recently, we've been hearing things. My daughter in her room, she was scared one day, and she was behind the door, and she was like, oh, there's a monster or something like that. And we're like, a monster? And I don't know, just like at night we hear things, and my husband's been having weird dreams that kind of like, what's that movie called, dude? You know the movie Ghost from Patrick Swayze?
Yes,
how those
yes.
like black like figures kind of
Yes.
drag them out. My husband's been having dreams that the figures will like kind of drag him. I don't know. We've been just experiencing a lot of like weird like sounds. Like our closet doors, we'll hear them like creak at night. We'll hear like loud things, and we don't know what it is.
You know, if I can share a little something, I have a good friend that has been living in his house for several years. I want to say maybe about 20 years. And at first it wasn't, nothing was going on, but eventually what started was he would hear his daughter playing with an imaginary friend, and they would walk in, and the little girl, his daughter, would stop, and she would tell her parents, you scared her away. She would be playing with an imaginary friend, which was a little girl. And that went on for years. And after a while, it started to get actually worse. They started to see things in the hallway. They started to see things move in the garage. After a while, they started to hear voices. And it just got worse and worse and worse.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so how long have you guys been living there, if you don't mind me asking?
We've been living here now for 3 years.
Okay, 3 years. And did this just recently start?
Yeah, it recently started like since me and my husband were both home right now. You know, we both lost our jobs because of the pandemic, so we're just home. And yeah, more recently, like things have been happening. A lot of times I'm the last one that goes to sleep because we have a 3-month-old baby, so I'm putting him to sleep. And I tell my husband, I've never seen anything, like personally in my life, I've never experienced or seen anything. he kind of has a few times, not here at our house. When he used to live with his mom, he would kind of like hear things or like kind of see things.
Yes.
And I don't know, it's weird. And my mom passed away when I was a kid. So I tell him, like, I've never seen her. I feel like I would be afraid to.
Yes.
But I tell him, like, I've never seen anything that I can say, like, oh, I've seen, like, this shadow or whatever. But I tell him sometimes, like, how do you say, like, in your peripheral vision? Like,
yes.
I feel like I'll see something, then I look, and it's not there. You know, and I tell him if I ever feel scared or if I feel like I see something, I just, like, close my eyes and I just pray, like, Lord, like, just please take the negativity away.
Yes. That would be the thing that I would recommend is I would definitely, whatever your faith is, and if that's what you believe in, that's what I would do. I would definitely pray about it and, you know, for your protection and for the protection not only of your home, but also of your husband and your children, your property, and, you know, that you guys would be protected. Because eventually, with my friend, it started to get a lot worse. And, you know, I don't really want to give away too much because eventually he will be here and he will share his stories. So,
have you looked into the history of your home?
No, I haven't. How would I do that?
I'm pretty sure you could, whoever your landlord is or whatever, they'll probably have some information on your home. You could also go to the library, and they normally have information depending on how old your house is, of course. But
okay. Yeah, our house is pretty old.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, definitely just take comfort in your religion, and but yeah, I think it'd be definitely good to maybe just check out the history of your house. You can maybe find out a little more. And I was also thinking that maybe you might be experiencing a little more paranormal activity because since you guys are home so much, whatever may be in your house could be upset that you guys are spending so much time in the home.
Yeah.
Really? How would we know if it's something negative or something like positive, I guess you could say?
You can check for there's if you smell something kind of like sulfur, that's normally a pretty bad sign. If you smell something good, that's normally like better, and if you smell like nothing, then that's better too. But if you smell like sulfur, that's normally a pretty bad sign. If things start to maybe break or fall, that's also normally a bad sign.
Yes, but I would definitely look into the history of the home. And with that being said, this individual that experienced all these things in his house, he looked into the history of his home and later on found out that somebody was actually killed there. So possibly something that's still lingering on. But we thank you for your call. We try to keep it at a certain time limit. So we want to thank you. We'd like to thank the anonymous caller for calling and sharing with us.
Thank you.
And hopefully all things work out good and better for you guys.
Good luck with everything.
Thank you. So once again, we want to thank our very first caller. She wanted to remain anonymous, but let us continue. You know, because when you hear stuff like that, obviously a lot of people call, or a lot of people ask or want answers because they are concerned. You know, of things that are going on in their home or in their family, whatever.
Yeah, get some advice.
Yeah, a lot of times, you know, and I'm not saying that we are professionals or qualified to answer, but since we have experienced things like that, it's always good to talk to people that are experiencing the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times I can share something, you can say, same thing, let me tell you what I did, you know, or so on and so forth.
Yeah, get some advice.
Yes, exactly. So I'm thankful that you called. Thank you for tuning in. And soon we're going to be going to break. When we come back, we're going to be taking a couple of more phone calls. But other than that, there's always a movie that I always like to refer to when I always give examples of either we call them shadow people, we call them entities, ghosts, or whatever we want to call them. She mentioned it, the movie Ghost. She said that her husband has been experiencing these silhouettes, whether it's in his dreams or whatnot. But I believe some of these silhouettes are the stuff that we've been seeing. I've been seeing, with awake, and I've also seen them in my dreams as well. And it's pretty scary because a lot of people who don't have any hope or possibly don't have any faith or don't know where to go and seek help, many people, and I'm not saying this about her, just in general, many people cry out for help. They seek help because they got loved ones living there with them. So, but anything you would like to add to that?
Yeah, like he said, I'm not a professional in paranormal and how to fix everything. I'm just going off of my experiences. Yeah, that's pretty much about it.
Okay. Anything else that you've experienced that you would like to share before we go to break?
Yeah. So with this person I have been seeing since I was a child, me and my sister thought it'd be a good idea to sage our entire house.
Yeah.
And I do feel like that has helped a little bit, maybe calm things down a bit, because I haven't really experienced as much since we've done that. But every once in a while we do still get doors opening and closing, very strong breezes. Another thing about this figure I've been seeing is that I have smelled sulfur occasionally in my house, either when I'm alone or nobody's lighting matches and things like that. And I had a friend tell me that is a super bad sign.
Yes.
And it is most likely a demon. But I have a hard time with that, just because it doesn't seem like it's ever done anything to me.
Right.
But they also said, it could seem like it's friendly just because, it wants to hang around you, feed off your energy or fear or discomfort, anything like that. I don't think the sage worked for making him
go away.
Yeah, but because we still saw him afterwards. But I don't really know what to do.
Yeah. Now, when you say sulfur, for a lot of people that may not understand, it's almost pretty much a burnt smell.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I have never smelled that. It's before I get to my story, I have never smelled that, but many people that I know that have experienced, whether we call them ghosts, paranormal, whatever, have smelled that. Yeah. And once again, I've always been a skeptic of that. So I've always said to myself, I want to smell it, but
you want to experience it.
Yeah, but here's the thing. When I really think about it, do I really want to see something? Do I really want to smell it that bad?
Yeah.
Because I've known people that said I've seen things and they've frozen and they couldn't move. And their lives had never been the same because they never forgot that experience. It did something to them mentally.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty much always looking around corners in my house. Anytime I'm walking around, I'm pretty much scanning the whole area just to see if there's anything there, pretty much.
And you did the history of your home, if I'm correct, because you said your home is at least 100 years old.
Yeah, I've done a little bit of research. Like I said, my house was built in 1920s. I'm not entirely sure who the first owner was, but the last owner was the owner before me and my family, was just a nice older couple. Really nice people, lived there for a couple years and they ended up moving out. Nothing strange there. The people before them, they actually liked to go out to the desert and do a little mining and stuff for they normally got obsidian, which is a rock, for lack of a better term, that supposedly blocks negative energy.
Okay.
Which I find very interesting. It's like, why did they mainly go for that? Were they having problems in this house too?
Right.
It was a man and a woman who went out and did that, and they lived in the house. And like, as far as I know, the gentleman had a heart attack. He didn't die in the home, I'm pretty sure he died in the hospital. So don't know if that involves anything in my house. But when we first moved in and we were fixing some things up, fixing the garden and everything, we found like obsidian everywhere. And obsidian is like a black shiny rock. It's like really smooth, almost like a chunk of glass.
Okay.
But black. And we found a bunch of it around my house, like just like in the dirt, like back in a closet, like in the garage. Like, we found so much. We had like 2-gallon bags full of obsidian.
Wow.
And
so obviously they were trying to protect themselves from something.
I believe so. I'm not entirely sure, but that's like all we found around the house was obsidian.
Wow.
And so we have obsidian all over the house. We've put it on shelves in different areas, just, to try to keep things
Right.
mellow. So that might have helped too.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's an apartment that I know of personally, and I could show it to you. I don't know if it's haunted, if this place just calls bad energy, or if there's a spirit that lives there. But I know for a fact that the people that live in this one apartment never last a year and a half. And they're always moving in and out. Now I say that because when a person rents an apartment, buys a condo, buys a house or whatever, they can ask the landlord or the realtor, has anything happened here in this house that I need to know of? And by law, they have to tell you.
Mm-hmm.
They have to tell you. A lot of people just see a nice house, affordable rent, let's move in.
Yeah.
But they don't realize what they're getting.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's an apartment that I know of for sure that a woman aborted her baby there and threw him in the trash.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and she was arrested. The cops came because they found the baby in the trash.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Another one committed suicide in this house. Not at the same time, obviously different people moved in. Another guy was murdered, was shot by his friend in that house. Another guy stabbed his wife in that house. Well, let me rephrase that, in that apartment. And just constantly, nothing but chaos has happened there.
Yeah.
And
that place needs to be demolished.
Very demolished, and it's close by. I'll actually show you.
Oh, yeah?
Yes. And nobody can stay there that long.
Yeah.
No one.
I don't blame them.
And I don't understand. It's like the history. I don't know why people continue to move into this place. Now, once again,
they probably don't ask what happened in the house.
And you're absolutely right, because I heard that it's for low income people that cannot afford, I guess, or many people that are living on minimum wage.
Yeah, low income housing.
Low income, yes. And but negativity after negativity has happened there in this apartment, and I'm just thinking to myself, like what you said, that just needs to be demolished. But I wonder, since we don't know what it is, will it still sit there when they build another one?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like the movie Poltergeist, when they said that they built a house.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. It's like maybe it's like on an Indian burial ground, or just something really bad happened there.
Yeah, we don't know. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and take a 5-minute intermission time. When we come back, we're going to take some more calls. And hopefully we can shine light on whatever some people are going through. Or maybe they just want to share.
Yeah.
So, okay, everybody. We're going to go ahead and take a 5-minute intermission break. So make sure you guys don't go nowhere. But let somebody know that Freaky Tales is live right now. Text them the link or call them and let them know that we're going to be taking some callers. So the number should be up there. When we come back, be ready, and we're going to try to keep it no more than 4 to 5 minutes. We're going to try to take several phone calls, and then we'll get back into our stories. So once again, if you would like to support us, go to documentary.com. We have the Loteria horror loteria. If you guys would like to purchase that, if you guys want to play some games every once in a while, go there, or email us your story at freakytalespodcast@gmail.com, or follow us on Instagram at freakytalespodcast on IG. So we'll be back in 5 minutes, so don't go nowhere. Give us a second. Welcome back, everybody, to Freaky Tales podcast here on this Friday. And I would like to thank Aimee, my special guest, for being here. And once again, for those of you that would like to call, that number should be up on the screen. And please, we're going to keep it between 4 to 5 minutes tops. If you have anything you want to share, I'm not accepting calls if you're just going to call to say hello, hi, or whatever. But please share something. We want you to be a part of this show. That's why we're making this available. I know many people want to share things that have happened to them, to their mother, to their father, to their relative, or maybe something that's been passed down to you and you would like to share. If you would like to share, give us a call. The number should be up on the screen once again. And if you don't want to call and you just want to be named anonymous, email us at freakytalespodcast@gmail.com, freakytalespodcast@gmail.com. Or once again, follow us, Freaky Tales Podcast, on Instagram. But if somebody would like to call right now, we're going to go ahead and allow you and give you the opportunity to give us a call. If not, we're going to go ahead and continue with our discussion. So once again, the number should be up on the screen, and we're going to give you guys just a little bit more to be a part of this show. I know many of you guys have been asking when you're going to start taking calls. Well, we're giving you guys the opportunity now. So if you want to, once again, give us a call. If not, my good friend John will let me know when somebody does call, and we'll take your call. Okay, we have a caller. Hello, caller.
Hi, yes.
Hello, how you doing?
What would you like to know? Good, thank you. I wanted to call in and just share my experiences as a kid and now as an adult.
Sure.
And just maybe get some answers.
Yes, thank you.
So I would like to remain anonymous. So the first things first, when I was a kid and I would go to sleep, there came a time when I was about like 8 or 9 years old that I was afraid to go to sleep because this black thing would always be by my bed. And I would always say, oh my God, it's El Diablo.
Yes.
And I remember being super afraid to go to bed because that thing was going to be waiting for me. I never told my parents anything, but I remember being in bed and sweating like wet, and then I wouldn't even move. And then when somebody would turn, that would give me the courage to turn, but the thing was always there. And that happened for a couple of years. I never told my parents. And I remember once when we were watching TV, the famous Latino show Cristina, we were talking about dreams. And I was already like 13, 14 years old, and I told my mom, oh, this is what used to happen to me when I was a kid. And she's like, how come you never told me? And I'm like, I don't know. So I don't know how to interpret that. That's one thing. And then fast forward, I'm in college, and I'll backtrack a little bit. In high school, we kind of played with the Ouija board for a little bit.
Yes.
But then we left it alone. And then in college, my roommate decided that she was going to bring her Ouija board. And we told her, we don't want it. We don't want it here. Because she had said that this Ouija board killed her brother and her dad because they asked her when they were going to die. So anyways, she ended up bringing it, and we told her, don't bring it, because how are we going to get rid of this thing? So she brings it, we start playing with it. And then I remember that my roommate's boyfriend, it told him, we were having like a little kickback, a party, and it told him he was going to die. He wasn't even on the board. Well, he was a gang member. He ended up getting shot and killed. Right? So then that roommate ended up moving out, and before another roommate moved in, she was very religious, and she's like, I'm not moving in until you get that thing out. I'm like, well, we don't know how to get rid of it, because I know you can't just get rid of it. So then we had the university pastor come and take it. And I remember when he walked in, and growing up, I'm used to having the houses blessed. It's like a yearly Latino tradition, but I remember when he walked into our apartment, it was 2 bedrooms, 2 baths, and 4 girls. He made a face. I didn't think nothing of it. So anyways, before he took it, I myself being a student, wanted answers. I'm like, why shouldn't I play with this? He's like, you're not supposed to play with it. That's why he had to tell us. And I'm like, no, I want a scientific explanation why you don't have to play with this stuff. And he wouldn't give me answers. I wasn't satisfied. Long story short, then he made us get into a prayer circle. Yes. And I still remember, he said, bow your heads, close your eyes, pray. And then he said these words I will never forget. He said, "It made these demonic spirits that inhabit this place leave." And that kind of like threw me off. And then he just took it, and that was it. And
he took the Ouija board?
I'm sorry, go ahead. Yeah, he took it.
Oh, okay.
Because I know you can't get rid of it just like that.
Yeah.
That's why that roommate, when she wanted to bring it, we're like, "Don't bring it, because I don't want it." And my other roommate's like, "I don't want it. And that's how we got rid of it, because he ended up taking it, because my new roommate didn't want to move into the apartment until that thing was gone.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea for him to take it.
Yes.
Yeah, so then fast forward, as an adult now, with my significant other, he's gotten creeped out, because sometimes he says that in my sleep I'm like talking, like how you have Tony the Exorcist when during break?
Yes.
The movie?
Mm-hmm.
Like that. And I'm like, I don't know. He's like, you scared me. And I'm like, I don't know. So my grandma, rest in peace, she died not too long ago, but before that, when she was getting sick, my mom went to Mexico to take care of her. And then my mom's a person who's never scared, but when she was there, she's like, "Man, in your grandparents' house, I was scared because I felt like all these spirits." And I told your grandpa to stop talking to them. And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Yeah, what do you mean, my grandpa?" He's like, "Yeah, I told your grandpa to stop talking to las animas." That's what they call it in Spanish.
Yes.
And I'm like, that kind of dawned on me. I'm like, oh my God, I guess this is something within the family that we have extra sensitivity to this. I don't know how to explain it, because even myself now, I attribute it to me playing with the Ouija board, that I sense things and things happen, but I'm not scared. I know how to go into I put myself in a trance, and I pray to anything evil that I feel is coming my way. Any bad feelings, not like entities or anything like that, just to clear my thoughts and meditate.
Yes.
And when she said that, I'm like, maybe we're like people that attract that kind of stuff. And I don't even know why I'm like in the middle of the night talking like the Exorcist. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know if you guys can give me an answer.
No, I understand what you're saying. I know you said that you've experienced some of these things even before the Ouija board. I don't know if it
started with it.
Right, from what you're, and I'm just gonna comment on from what you're telling me. I don't know if it might have been just something in the house already, or some people for some reason do attract these things. And I'm not saying this happened to you, in this case, but I know some people do attract some of these things. And like my good friend right here, Aimee, was saying that she just sees these things in their house. She never feels like it's gonna harm her, yet the house is old. But to move forward, when you said that you started to play with the Ouija board, I've always have said that for people not to play with that. We don't know what door we are opening when we do play. A lot of times we think it's fun and games, because now you could buy it at Target, you could buy it at Walmart, you could even buy a glow-in-the-dark one. And it may seem like fun and games, but we don't know what door we're opening and what's going to walk through that door. So I do believe from the Ouija board on forward, there's a possibility that you might have opened something and it came through, and I was just following you guys. I know you said that we cannot just throw that board game away, because now it's something almost spiritual, that's just hanging around. I believe you guys did something right when you said you guys called the pastor, he prayed over you guys, and you guys prayed together. And now you say you know how to take care of it by praying. I would believe that would be the best bet that I would be doing, is pretty much praying for somebody who has faith and who believes that in God's protection. To me, that would be my best solution and my only solution, in that case. So we thank you for calling. We're not paranormal experts, but we have experienced many of the things that you are talking about, and it's always good to have somebody to share experiences that they've experienced just like us, and maybe somehow we can get answers, or we can get some type of help or some type of clarity. So hopefully we kind of shared, I don't know if Aimee, you want to, share a little something, or.
Yeah, I agree. It's a very good idea that he took the Ouija board out. You could have maybe strengthened whatever was with you at the time, but it was probably a good idea that it was removed by a pastor.
Yeah, and let me see. I think that we lost the call, But you know what? I thought you brought up a very good point, because she did say that before the Ouija board, she did see these things. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times, like what you said, playing with the Ouija board, if something else didn't come through that door, if you will, it could have strengthened what was there.
Yes, yeah.
That's a very good point, and that's very true. I guess I didn't think about it that way, but a lot of times, once again, we just want to make it clear that we're not paranormal experts, but it's always good to talk to people that are experiencing the same thing.
Yeah,
as you.
get it off your chest, kind of thing.
That, and a lot of times to, how would you say, if I share something with you and then you say, you know what, Tony, I've gone through the same thing. Now I find a little comfort that I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
So at this time, once again, if anybody else would like to call and like to keep your call between 4 to 5 minutes, you can go ahead and call right now. The number should be on the screen. And you want to share something that's either happened to you, it's happening, when you were a kid, or it's happening to you now, maybe happened to a family member, a relative, or maybe even a story that has been passed down to you through the family that maybe you guys just never got clarity or never really understood, or, never really, how would you say, it's just always remained a mystery. It's always good to share it, because you never know. We might have gone through the same thing, have gotten answers, and possibly we can shed light on that. One thing that she did say that I understood some of the words that she was saying, because some of the words were in Spanish, and my mom just talked a lot about a lot of the things that she was saying. Mm-hmm. But the Ouija board thing, I would always say, do not play around with it.
Yeah, it's really not a toy.
No,
it's really not.
It's not.
It's not a fun little party game.
Right. And I've known people that have even told me that when they were in jail, they made up their own, because they lost faith in God. So somehow, whether they grew up in the church or not, or somehow they lost, whatever their faith was in, they lost it. So they thought, let me try and get some answers on this thing. And they didn't realize the doors that were opening to the other side for something to come in. Because I do believe that there's something out there that we really can't fully explain.
Yeah.
But yet we're experiencing these things, and now we don't know how to get rid of them, So once again, if anybody would like to call and share one of their experiences, once again, the lines are open. Our friend John will let us know when somebody calls. So we're going to continue our discussion. And if you happen to call while we're discussing, we will take up your phone call, because we really like to hear from you. Please just share and keep it between 4 to 5 minutes. But other than that, I like, this was the first episode where we're actually taking calls, and I'm really enjoying it. That people are actually, that's fine that you want to remain anonymous. Yeah. Because I think a lot of people are afraid to come out and just say this is so and so, simply because, and I'm sure there's other reasons, because they don't want to be considered a weirdo or Yeah. But but things like this do happen. And isn't it funny that those two callers always said a shadowy figure?
Yeah, it seems very common. Like, I think it's pretty more like rare to actually see like a full figure with details and like face, clothing, everything like that. I've heard a couple stories where people have, but it's a lot more rare. Normally people just see the silhouette kind of thing.
Okay, we got a call. Give us 1 second. Let us turn up our volume here. Okay, caller, are you there?
Hey, Tony, what's up?
Hey, how you doing?
Hello?
Would you like to...
All right, brother, how you doing?
I'm good.
I've got a story for you guys.
Shoot it.
When I was about 4 or 5, I was camping out on the beach out here in California. I'm not sure what the beach's name was, but it set up on a cliff, and down below there's a bunch of rocks down the bottom.
You know what?
You have to walk down the stairs.
You sound a little muffled. Can you put your mouth right by your phone? Because for some reason, I'm having a hard time.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. A little bit better.
All right. Yeah, I had you on speaker. My bad. Anyways, I was at this beach. I'm about like 4 or 5 years old. We were camping with the church, my family and another family that was there. Anyways, we were at the beach, and I was looking out over the cliff, because the campsite is set up on the cliff.
Yes.
And down below was the rocks and stuff like that. There's a rocky beach. Well, anyways, when I was looking out towards the ocean, a bunch of clouds came around. It kind of got cloudy and stuff. And earlier you mentioned about seeing a silhouette, like a reaper at the house. Okay, well, while I was looking out at these clouds, I seen the same type of image come up out of the clouds.
Wow.
Well, anyways, he had a sickle in his hand. And he drew a sickle along the cloud base, like it was drawn along the beach. And out of the clouds, after the sickle hit, these little images of like whales and stuff like that popped up onto the beach, like they were dead. Well, the next morning, me and some guy that was with us, we walked along the beach, going, taking a walk. And we seen all these beached whales and stuff, like just laying out on the beach.
Oh, wow.
And I tripped out on that. And, it's been with me for a long time. I've told the story a couple times to my family and stuff. And they kind of like brushed it off,
Yeah.
And, we're Christian background. I grew up with, believing in the Lord and stuff. But, I tripped out on just seeing that. And I thought to myself, I was, you know what? Is that like a premonition that I seen at night? Did I really see it, or was I dreaming? I thought that I was awake when I seen it.
Right.
And I just wanted to share that with you guys. To me, it kind of tripped me out, and I thought it's something you guys might want to, trip out onto.
Okay. If you don't mind me asking you, I don't know why I'm asking you. Where are you originally from?
I'm out here in California. I was raised in Ontario, and I grew up right here in the Southland.
Okay. Well, you know what? That's a tough one, because that's something that I'm gonna have to really think about, that, because the first thing that came to my mind, I don't think you were dreaming. I think you actually saw it. But
yeah, I thought I seen it too.
Yeah, but that's a tough one. I don't know if Aimee, you want to touch that one.
I think you might have obviously been seeing something, and it could have been a sign, like something telling you to maybe try to prevent it somehow, or to make a change somehow. Do you know why the whales were beached?
As far as I know, they look like they had their guts hanging out.
Oh, really?
I went and gutted them all.
Did they look like they were like maybe attacked by like another creature?
Yeah, I was young, so to me it kind of looked like they kind of got like attacked by maybe a shark or something. But it was like a whole squad of them.
Yeah,
they all just decided to come up on the beach and die or something that day.
Wow.
Well, that is weird. Now,
yeah, I mean, I've had other dreams too, like that tripped me out in the past, and even recently, up to now and stuff. I still have these crazy dreams and stuff. Like I'd be seeing things.
Yeah.
And later on, it would happen.
Let me ask you this, because I've experienced that as well, where I've had dreams, but I dreamt them. The way it's worked for me, that I dreamt them the same dream one night after the other. So they were always like back to back, the same dream, and then on the third day it would happen. But
yeah.
Let me ask you, because you said something earlier. You said, you grew up, you have a Christian background. If you don't mind me asking you, where is your faith at now? Is it still the same?
I'm still a believer.
Okay, that's good.
I don't attend church like everyone does, but I mean, my faith is still solid in what I believe.
Okay. Well, listen, man, we want to thank you for calling and sharing that with us. We truly, truly appreciate it. We're thankful that you're a part of the show, and once again, we appreciated that you actually called and shared that with us. So, once again, thank you, man.
Yeah. So much love, brother. I appreciate you taking the call.
All good, brother. We'll talk soon. Bye-bye. Okay. Once again, we're going to go ahead and leave that number up there in case somebody else wants to call and share. So that was our third caller of the night, and that was a pretty wild one, for him to say that he saw in the clouds a reaper come out. The only other time that I've ever heard of a reaper was when this one female friend told me that she woke up. It was still dark, but somewhat light, like the the sun was coming up. And she woke up, and right above her was the Grim Reaper. And she actually said she saw him, I think, what do they call that, a sickle? That she actually saw it. And I didn't think she was lying to me. Okay, we'll come back to that story. Caller, hello? Hello?
Hi, Tony. This is David.
David?
Hello? Yes.
Okay, yeah. Do me a favor. Okay, go ahead.
You can hear me better now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, I had a question because we live out here in Northern California.
Okay.
And we had a family member that went to go visit a national forest and ended up missing. And I had spoke with an investigator a year back named David Politis, I believe his last name was. And he's been investigating supernatural things that have happened here in California and throughout the country about people missing, possibly like a Bigfoot, about taking kids and possibly people. And we had thought that this family member was possibly abducted by something like that because they had only found his car and the police had ruled it out as a suicide, but nobody has ever been recovered. And I wanted to know if you guys have ever heard of anything like that.
Yes. I grew up with a father that he believed in alien abductions. Like he truly, truly believed in alien abductions. A lot of times when people would come up missing, growing up, they would put them in the back of mail cartons. So-and-so's missing. I don't know if they still do that or not, because I know now we have social media and internet and the news and better technology than we did then. But he would always blame it on alien abductions. Some people would say, on a different note, that these were Satanists that were kidnapping people and offering them as a sacrifice. Today, people say, no, it could have been a drug cartel and they just take people, and just so many different explanations. But I'm only kind of guessing from what little you have told me. But yes, I have heard of people missing where they rule out suicide. They're just missing. Nobody knows what happens to them. You never hear anything about them. I'll give you a quick story, and I don't remember all the details, but I remember saw this on a newspaper about 5 years ago, that there was a man that went up to the mountains out here in California. He had a station wagon, so I believe it was like either late 60s or early 70s, and they had been up there prior, and that's where they take their family vacations. And their son would always jump out of the station wagon. He was like about a 5 or 6 year old boy, and he took off to run to the campsite. Well, the dad, has known him to do that before the previous year. So he tells the older brother, go get him. Yeah. Follow him. They never found him. They never found him, okay? 5 years ago, the dad was still releasing ads on the newspaper because he never had peace.
Yeah, never gave up.
Never gave up. And they all actually even enhanced his face on possibly what he would have looked like now. But they found no clue, no evidence, nothing that he was attacked, kidnapped, anything. What happened, we don't know. Yeah. And I don't know, Aimee, if you want to touch on that or...
Yeah, and
yeah.
To the viewers out there, there is a good documentary on YouTube. It's called Missing 411.
Okay.
And that's what kind of struck our interest, is when we started investigating for ourselves, because we didn't believe he had no depression or anything like that. He just liked the wilderness, like riding bikes, California Adventures, Highway 1, all that kind of thing. So we're not sure exactly what happened to him. But I just don't want to include his name. I'm pretty sure if you guys were to Google it, I'm sure you would find a lot more about why hundreds of people vanished into North American woods or wilderness.
Okay.
But his name is David Politis, the investigator.
Okay.
And he has made a documentary and written books. It's called Missing 411.
Okay.
But I had thought it was something that was supernatural, either an alien or because it's just so weird that people vanish and that they don't find bodies or skulls or anything like that. Like it's puzzling. Yeah.
Yes. Well, remember, I grew up with a father that believed in abductions, and he said sometimes they experiment with them and they bring them back. Sometimes they just keep them. I wish I had a better answer, but I will encourage our listeners to look up. Would you say Missing 411? Is that the name of the documentary?
Correct.
Okay. Missing 411. Well, listen, we want to thank you for calling and sharing with us, and hopefully that his family receives some type of closure.
Yeah.
Do you know what year this happened?
Yes, 2018.
Oh, 2 years ago. Okay. And they ruled that out. They ruled out suicide or anything like that because they didn't find anything, obviously.
Correct.
Okay. Well, listen, we want to thank you once again for calling and sharing that with us. We greatly appreciate it. And, I wish we could have given you more, but that's pretty much what we have. So, thank you.
Okay, well, thank you again. And you guys be safe out there.
Yes, sir.
You
Thank
too.
Wow. And let me finish sharing with you that when I read that, it was so heartbreaking because that father whose son was never found again, when he said in the newspaper, when he shared his story, that when his son they had just pulled up, his son got out and just ran, ran in between some bushes or whatever, to walk to get to wherever the campsite was, that might have been 10 seconds.
Yeah.
So he told, the older boy, go get him. And they never found him. Like, I guess what puzzled him, he said, within 10 seconds of time, there was no way that he could have gone missing. Like, there is no way. Well, after years of research, they found out that around that area, but they couldn't prove it, there was a killer that used to abduct or kidnap kids. Mm-hmm. But they couldn't put that on him because they couldn't prove that he was there. There was no sign of anything.
Yeah.
So, and the sad thing is that the dad never got any closure and he's still looking for his son.
Have you ever heard of Wendigos?
No.
All right. There's a lot of different variations of a Wendigo. Like, people have different legends of a Wendigo, but it mainly revolves around this creature that can change its shape into like either different people or animals. And it will lure people, and it's normally like in mountains, in woods. That's where you will find Wendigos, and they will eat people.
Really?
Yeah, they will consume the people that they lure.
I'm surprised I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's a lot of different legends on Wendigos, but like different variations. But yeah, it's pretty crazy. So that's what I was maybe thinking, the child and that person's uncle, I think it was, could have gotten.
Well, we definitely appreciate, him calling because, a lot of times many people, for some reason, they're just looking for comfort or closure or some type of answer. So with that being said, once again, we're going to leave the phone number up there. And if anybody would like to call and share, we truly, truly appreciate everyone who has called, who has shared, maybe looking for answers. Maybe you don't even have a question. Maybe you just want to share a story. Once again, whether it's paranormal, whether it's ghost story, whether it's something that's been passed down to you guys from family members, maybe something you're going through right now and you need possibly some type of clarity. And if we can help, I would love to, or maybe you just want to know if we've ever experienced something like that. Hopefully we've shared enough where you feel comfortable enough to at least call and share. If anybody wants to call, once again, the number's on the screen. We're making it available for the first time here on Freaky Tales Podcast, episode 12, with my friend here, Aimee. And once again, Aimee, while we wait for somebody to call, I'm getting a kick out of people calling in a good way, that to say that we're not alone with these experiences, that because many of them may be feeling comfort. Okay, they're talking about the same thing that I'm going through, but we feel the same way when they call. They're going through the same thing that we've gone through, or experienced almost the same thing. Okay, we have a caller. Give us a second. Okay, caller, you there?
Yes, I'm here. How you doing?
I'm doing great, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I got a little story to tell. I don't believe in ghosts. I never believed in it. I had friends that did. I had an uncle who used to study the Bible, but at the same time, he had some issues. Like he used to. A lot of people he used to live with, they would say that he was just a pervert. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And it was just weird. But I want to talk about something else. I want to talk about one time we heard steps.
You know what? We could barely hear you. If you can put your mouth closer to your phone.
We don't know what it is. He said it was something like that.
Caller.
He called it, he thought it was an animal.
Caller.
And I thought it was maybe a big cat. And,
okay, caller, if you cannot hear us, we're going to have to hang up the line because we cannot understand what you're saying.
What do you mean you can't understand what I'm saying?
Okay, there you go. Your voice wasn't clear.
Okay.
It wasn't like your mouth wasn't by the phone.
Is it clear now?
Yes, sir.
Is it clear now?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, let me throw on the jacket, bro, because it's hella cold. If you could just hold on, I'm talking while I go outside, because this climate change is getting hella cold, bro. And I need a jacket. I can't take this cold. So let me go outside real quick. Give me just 1 second.
Yes, you got to make it quick, sir.
Yeah. So yes, we lived out in the ranch, okay? And in the ranch, my neighbor passed away in a car accident. And after he passed away, we would hear, like, on top of the roof, like somebody just, like, rolling, like, and then we would hear, like, big steps. It was like Bigfoot.
Yes.
And the whole family would say, "Who's up there? Hey, who's up there, bro? Is that my brother fucking up there or what?" Then my sister would be like, "No, nobody's up there." And we pull the big old flashlight. We call the neighbor because it was scary, and we didn't see nothing, but the noise was still there.
Yeah.
I mean, these were big steps. Like, I never heard anything like that in my life.
And this was on top of the roof, correct?
And then, on top of the roof, bro.
Okay.
And then, it would give you the chills, bro, just by hearing it. And it was scary. It was spooky. And then we had to call un padre católico.
Sí.
And he came over and he prayed. And he goes, "This is something weird. I never heard it before, but I'm going to pray. I'm going to do what I got to do. And if you still hear it, you got to call something else." And it went away little by little. But if you were there by yourself and you would hear this, you would shit your pants, bro. I shit you not. You would shit your pants, bro.
I believe you.
And that's my experience. I never believed in ghosts. I never believed in brujeria. But once I experienced this, bro, I was like, what the hell was that? And then the neighbor came, we flashed the lights, and the steps were there, still there. But this happened after my neighbor passed away. That he was our friend. He used to come over, and then they said he died in an accident. And when he died in an accident, he rolled on the street, and then he died.
Oh, wow.
And that is my story I wanted to share.
Okay, sir. Thank you for calling. We greatly appreciate it.
Hey, thank you, Tony. Tony, hey, thank you very much, bro. I love your show. I always watch you, bro. Keep doing what you're doing, bro. Thank you very much.
Muchas gracias, bro. You have a blessed night. Okay. I'm gonna share something really quick. When he said that he heard, I guess, either walking or rolling on the roof. Is that what he said?
Yeah.
And then I guess he was tying it to I guess somebody who had passed away.
Yeah, his neighbor.
Okay, his neighbor. Okay. The only other time that I've ever heard of footsteps or anything on the roof was a friend, and he told me the very next day when it happened. He said that he went to a party, he met someone, and he said it was just so odd. He met this one guy, and he had very short hair. Okay, this was in the 80s. Very short hair, met him, and he didn't realize that this guy was a drug dealer, and he started drinking a little bit, and he said he started seeing the floor move a little bit. I'm giving you guys a very, very long story short. He said he started drinking, and he said his floor was checkered, like white, black, white, black. And he said after a while, he felt like it was moving, so he felt that he was drugged.
Yeah.
So 1 month later, he goes back to another party. Same location, same area, different house. This time, the guy that he said was the drug dealer that he met the first time with very short hair. Reason why I bring that up, because he said this time he walked up to him and he said, "Hey, what's up? How you doing?" And didn't recognize him. He goes, "I'm the guy I met last time, but this time he had long hair."
Oh. All right.
So he said he thought for a while, he's got to have a wig. He goes, "It's the same face, but it's not the same guy."
Yeah.
I mean, he said, "No, the guy later on put up a ponytail. He knew it was, but he just couldn't believe that for 1 month."
Yeah.
You know, he said that was the first thing. So he said he left, and that his friend, the drug dealer, told his friend, "Hey, call your buddy over here." So he called him over there, and he says, "Did you see anything?" And he said, "No." He said, "You didn't?" And he said, "No." Okay. So he said he left. Only thing he said that he was thinking about was the month prior, how he saw the floor move.
Yeah.
But he said he couldn't be asking me about that, because that was a month ago. He said, so I get to my house. He said, now keep in mind, these guys don't know me. They don't know who I am. I don't even live close to these guys. He said, I get out of my car and I start walking. I park across the street from my house. My house is right here. I live in a 2-story house. He said, I parked in my house and I see 3 guys coming towards me in the middle of the street. He said, and one of them was the drug dealer.
Yeah.
He goes, they don't say nothing to me. They're just walking towards me. He goes, I thought they followed me, or how do they know where I live?
Yeah.
So I run inside my house. He said, I got terrified. He said, and guess what I hear next? They're on top of my roof.
Jeez.
He said, they're on top of my roof, that they're walking.
Yeah.
He said, I told my girl, let's pray. He goes, I got so terrified. He goes, I grew up in a Christian background church. You know, well, grew up Christian. And so I have my faith background is being, church-going boy when I was a kid.
Yeah.
See, so that's the first thing that I did was I prayed. But he said that he heard them walking all on the roof. He said, there's no way they could have gotten there that fast.
Yeah.
He said, there's no way. So when he was sharing this story, that was the first thing that came to my mind. I'm not saying I likened it to his story, but that's the only time that I've ever heard some share about the roof. What that was, I don't know. I believe him. Like he said, hey, we probably would have shit in our pants.
Yeah.
But I could only imagine what this friend of mine told me. And he came to my house the very next day. And if you look at his face, you would know that he was not lying.
Yeah.
You know, he said, as soon as I went through the door, I ran upstairs and I heard the footsteps on the ceiling, well, on the roof. So,
Yeah.
with that being said, we're going to take another call. Okay. So hopefully you see the number on the screen. And if you would like to call and once again just share whatever you might have experienced or somebody might have shared with you or something that has been passed down through your family, you know, a lot of stories that I share, many of them I personally experienced, or I had a lot of friends that experienced a lot of things. And for some reason, they confided in me, they opened up to me, and they shared these things with me. So that's what gave me the idea. Why not? Since this has been a part of my life for many years. Start up a podcast, allow people to come in, share their experiences, and get to know other people. I mean, we live in such a great time right now that technology is everything. We can talk to people that we normally wouldn't talk to or meet.
Yeah.
And we all have these same stories or many similar stories, you know. So once again, if you want to call and share your story. Right now is the time. My friend John here will let us know when these stories are, when we get a call, and we'll pick up, listen to your story, and take it from there. But until then, we're going to continue our conversation and go from there. Now, when my buddy came, okay, we got a caller. Oh, okay, caller, are you there? Hello, caller.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hey, what's up, Tony?
How you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. What's on your mind?
Well, I just got a quick story. This was passed down from my family, and it happened down in Mexico.
Okay.
So my grandma was older, right? And she was on her deathbed already. You know?
Yes.
And I guess it was my dad's brothers, which are my uncles, and my aunts. And they were all surrounding her on the deathbed. And they knew this was like her final moments. So what my Hester told me was that the lights kind of were flickering a little bit. And what she did was she was unconscious the whole time. So she stuck her right arm out and she grabbed my oldest uncle by the shirt. And his name is Larry. And she grabbed him by the shirt and opened her eyes wide and said, "Larry, cuida mis hijos," you know? And that was her last words, and she straight died right there. And it really freaked out my jefe, because he had never, ever seen anything like that.
Okay, so she said, "Cuida mis hijos," like in other words, take care of my kids. So for those that
and like she hadn't been awake for like I'll say like 2 weeks, and she was really, really sick. You know, she couldn't talk or nothing. They were feeding her through the tubes, but that really creeped out my jefe and my family right there.
It sounds like she just put all her energy together to just get out one last message to you guys.
That's what it sounds like. If I may share something before you continue. I had a good friend that shared with me a story, and this was an older man. I was a younger man at the time. I was in my 20s, and this man was probably in his early 60s. And his wife hadn't been conscious for a long time. She was in the hospital, possibly a coma, if I'm correct. And he would always sit at her feet and read to her. And she finally gathered up enough strength to sit all the way up, stretched her arms towards him, almost like she always knew he was there. And she whispered, "I love you." And she laid back down and passed away.
Wow.
Oh, man. So things like that do happen, huh? Like, you probably have your last burst of energy.
Yes. Well, most people have told me this, that, it's almost like if God allows them to, say maybe their last words or something like that. Because some of those words can last a lifetime. You'll always remember those words. There were things that my mother told me on her deathbed that I won't repeat, but those words were for me. So yeah, I do believe in sometimes some people gather enough energy and they say certain things because they know they're going to mean something to you and it's going to carry you even after they're gone. So.
Yeah, that makes sense, and that's just a story that my jefe would share with me every now and then.
Okay.
Yeah. And yeah.
Well, we thank you, man, for calling and sharing that with us. It means a lot that you would call and take the time and share something, that pertains to your family. So once again, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I said no problem. Yeah,
okay.
I'm right here at work and shit, and I had to freaking, I've been listening to your stuff, so I just snuck out real quick before the boss saw me.
Hey, you know what?
You know?
All right, brother, get back to work, man. You have a blessed night, and we'll, thank you once again. Stay tuned. Okay, bye-bye. So, wow, you know what? Wow. Cuida mis hijos means like take care of my kids in Spanish, And I do believe that sometimes some people gather enough energy to say something, because Once again, I know my mother with me, she said certain things to me when I was alone with her. And I'm glad, that she said those things to me, because even now, they still give me strength, And some of them are just very, very simple things. So, yeah, we'll take this last call as of right now. Hello, caller?
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, brother.
Hey, what's up? Hey, so I have a little story. So basically, this was on Halloween night, and it was all our cousins, maybe like 15 years ago, and all my girl cousins were rockeras, Spanish rockers.
Yeah.
And my uncle was a doctor or still a doctor from Mexico, from Michoacan. So he used to live with us. And so they pulled out the Ouija board. And, I've never been a big believer in ghosts and all that type of stuff. But until that one night, I think I was like 15 years old, in high school, my uncle had a medicine on top of the cabinet. All, basically, we had asked, the Ouija board a couple questions, and basically it said that it was in the room, and it was, and everybody was on the floor. We had candles, so we were trying to talk to spirits. And so basically we said, if you're in this room, show us. And the next thing, one of the medicine falls, one of the bottles from the counter, and we look up, and we just ran, downstairs, because our family was down. It was a 2-story house, and we were in my room, and we all ran, and to this day, I don't know. Everybody was, on the floor, and there was nobody standing up, so I don't know how that be possible for one of the medicine bottles to fall over on the floor. So,
Well, let me say this, and I think you'll agree, and I think Aimee will agree as well, that whenever somebody messes around with a Ouija board, it's almost like nothing good has ever come out of it.
No.
Nothing good.
No, yeah, you're right.
And a lot of times people, it almost seems like they ignore that and just are curious, so let's see what happens.
Yeah.
And then what ends up happening, something ends up coming through, scares the hell out of them, and now they still live with that for years later. So we like to encourage people here that is really nothing to play with.
Yeah.
Once again, I shared this on a past episode. Before I let you continue, somebody had found a brand new Ouija board, a brand new, still sealed, in their shed outside of their house. He said, I didn't even know we even had it here. He said, do you want me to bring it to a Freaky Tales episode 1? You could just leave it as a prop on the table. And I said, do not bring that here. Because I do believe that there are things attached to those Ouija boards, whether you play with them or not. So.
Oh yeah, I definitely believe. And my father in Mexico, he was born in northern Mexico, in Tamaulipas.
Yeah.
And
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to continue. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was. Oh, I thought. So long story short, my dad had told me that he had a teacher in Mexico that was playing the Ouija board, and my dad was, he was much younger. This is before me, and I guess the teacher would play with it, and I guess he tried getting rid of it, throwing it away, and basically every time he threw it away, it would come back in the classroom. So basically, he ended up committing suicide because the Ouija board kept coming back. I guess he threw it away, and it just kept coming back to him. So I guess, I don't know the full story, but my father has told me that that this board, it opens up a portal for spirit, demons, that you let in and to communicate. So now I'm a believer.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That there's. They're out there.
I want you to look at it this way, and somebody told me this years ago. They told me this, that board wasn't meant for you to communicate with them. It was actually meant for them to communicate with you.
Wow. Yeah.
That makes a big difference there.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Oh yeah.
So,
definitely.
Wow. Well, thank you for sharing, that, and we greatly appreciate you taking the time and calling us and being a part of this show. So, once again, thank you for tuning in.
Thank you, man.
Okay, brother. You have a blessed night.
All right. Thanks.
Wow, you know what? And every time we hear a story about a Ouija board, it's never good.
Yeah, no.
It's never good. And, like I said, we encourage people not to play around with Ouija boards, because ever since I was told that it was meant for them to communicate with us, I'm sorry, I don't know who I'm communicating with.
Yeah, like I've heard stories where people are like, oh, I talked to my grandma and like it was so sweet, but it's like, was that really your grandma, or was that just like some demon trying to get a hold of you and hopping through that board? Like,
yeah, and we don't know. You know, of course, anything could lie and say I'm your great grandfather.
Yeah.
And I've known people, believe it or not, that couldn't find a girlfriend or a boyfriend. When am I going to find love? That desperate, not realizing that they're communicating with something that you know nothing about.
Yeah.
So, but with that being said, I know we're coming to the conclusion of our show, and I want to thank everyone who has participated, everyone who was called. Next Friday, we will have another special guest. Next Friday, we will take some more calls. And I should have saved a little bit more time to read you guys' letters that you guys emailed. But if you guys are more interested in calling and sharing your story live, that would be even better. Some of you may just say, I don't want to talk, I'm a little shy or whatnot, or I don't want nobody to recognize my voice or something. You could rename anonymous, what I'm saying? And you can just, share your story, or you can just, once again, email us at freakytalespodcast@gmail.com. Follow us also at Freaky Tales Podcast on Instagram, or when we post up the number next week. Once again, I think we're going to be giving a different number every week. So if not, it'll be up on the screen. And some of you guys are texting me right now. Please, when I am live, do not text me. It's not like I'm going to answer text messages. Just call. Okay? If you have a question or something you want to share or whatnot, please do so. Aimee, I want to thank you for coming here and, being a part of Freaky Tales, where we took phone calls for the first time.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's been a lot of fun.
Yes. And was there anything else that maybe you wanted to get off your chest? So maybe something you came here to share, or maybe it might be helpful to some of our viewers, or do you feel pretty content that you said what you had to say?
Well, all I have to really say is if you're dealing with something in your house or something that's following you that's like paranormal, there's always help. You don't have to move out always. It can be fixed. You just got to look out there for the right help, do some research, and there's always help out there to fix these situations.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Because, many people like to look for comfort. Some people don't, may not have a religious background, so they don't want to turn to a priest or to a pastor, etc. So they try to look for other ways, and I get it. But playing with the Ouija board isn't one of the ways.
Yeah, don't do that. Please don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. And once again, anybody maybe you just want to give a shout out to? Kevin?
Kevin from cast coordinator of 17th Door. Thank you very much for providing this opportunity to me, telling me about this podcast. And thanks.
Yes, thank you. And thank everybody for tuning in, everybody that's subscribed, everybody that is following us, everybody that's commenting on the live chat. Thank you guys. Thank the callers for making this possible. And I also want to thank John Elkins for making this possible. He put all this together within minutes. Believe me when I say that he is the Steve Jobs of the city of Torrance. Yes, he is. So once again, thank you guys for tuning in, and always remember, expect the unexpected. We'll see you guys here Friday, and we'll be taking more calls. Thank you. You guys have a blessed night.